I'm in a Word document and I have to create two columns. So without highlighting anything or selecting, I simply click on Layout and a menu shows up. Now, if you click back onto the text, the menu disappears. So you can double click on Layout, double click with your mouse, and now the menu remains. Again, without highlighting anything, click on the Columns button and select 2. Now, I might remember after making this change that I have a Works Cited page at the end, and that should not be 2 columns. So here's what you can do. You can highlight the entire Works Cited page, and so to get to the other column, you just get your mouse over on that text. So I'm clicking with my mouse and I'm dragging to highlight all of that text. I click Columns again, and I change it back to 1. Okay, there we go. Now I have my columns above, Works Cited is how I want it, but there's this blank space here. So you can try to delete this, but there's just something to watch out for. Watch what happens when I hit backspace and delete this empty space. My entire document just went back to 1 column. So you have to be a little careful. Let me just click here and just keep hitting backspace until this moves up to where I need it. Okay, that's better. The next thing I have to look at are some of the figures in my piece here. So you can click and drag the diagrams to move them where you want them. If you click in the corner, you can resize these as you see fit. And if you right-click, you can hover over Wrap Text. And you have quite a few options here. So if you want, you can just put this in front of the text altogether. And now it will just it'll cover up anything that's behind it. So then that would allow you to put this here, and then I could hit Enter on my keyboard to add spaces. There we go. So now I could just add some spaces that way and control where the image goes manually. You can instead click Wrap Text. You can do top and bottom. And what this does is it guarantees that the text won't be beside the picture. So no matter where I put this thing, text will never be to the left or to the right of it, even if I move it all the way. Oh, well, I guess in that case it does go for 2 columns. So that's another option. So that's one way you can move things around. Just think about where your items are going. Think about the size. Maybe this has to be bigger so it's legible. Compare the text that you have, the lyrics, to your regular font. They should be roughly the same size if it's going to be legible. Okay. So the final thing I want to show, if you have a file or an image like this, which is bigger perhaps, or this one here, a better example still. One option, if you don't want to cram it into a single column, you can actually just take up more space. And let me just take these away for now. And I want to show you one of the ways you can do that. So let's say I have just this one thing and I want it to occupy a good amount of space. You could actually make it kind of like a figure. So here's how you could do that. Click on Insert, and next click on Shapes. And choose the rectangle, the box. Now let's draw a box around this musical quote. So I click and I drag, and I let go of my mouse once I'm finished. Now we have to click on the Format tab up here. It's already selected, because that's the default when you add a new shape. The shape outline, I click there and I want that to be black. The shape fill, we need it to show no fill. And the reason we do that is so you can see what's inside of the shape. Okay, now it's overlapping with the text. So what do? You right-click on the box, and I like to right-click on one of those corners because I find that the easiest place to right-click. I hover over Wrap Text, oops, and once again I choose, I want the text to be on top and on bottom. So I click here. Okay, now I can make this bigger. It's got plenty of room here. If I want, I can expand it out to the side. And something else you could do, you could add a figure label. So let me click on Insert once more, Shapes, and then choose the text box here. And you can find it under text box right there. Rectangles is also here. And then I click and I drag, and I'm going to put a little bit of text here in the corner that says, first let me go to Home, the Home tab up top, change it to Times New Roman, or to match whatever you're using, and change the size to match. And then I'll type Figure 1. Whoops, my G is getting cut off. Let me pull this down so there's more room. And like before, you could click on Format, Shape Fill, and we don't want the text box to have any fill. Likewise, the outline should not be anything. We don't want this running into other things, other parts of our diagram. And there you go. Now you could refer to Figure 1. This looks a little bit more formal, more like an article, just like I've got the 2 columns here. And yeah, this is how you go about it. If you have to move everything and you want to move all of it together, then here's the trick. Hold down Shift with your keyboard. I'm holding Shift on my keyboard. I click on the first object. I click on the second object, the quote itself, the picture, and I click on the text. Where's the text? Let me try again. Oops, there's the text. Now let me get the object. It went away. Now that I've selected all 3, I can let go of Shift, and I can click again with my mouse, and I'm clicking and dragging now to move all 3 items together. If you think you're going to be moving them frequently, you can highlight the 3, right-click, hover over Group, and make them a single entity. The only trick is that if you group them together, then now you've lost your wrap text setting. So all that means is you have to right-click once more, again hover over wrap text, and choose top and bottom, just like we had previously. And now it's going to work again. So at this point, I can click and I can drag the whole thing up and down as I wish. Okay, thanks for watching this video.